Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be having a look at a powerful optical zoom PoE outdoor security camera, the ANNKE ACZ800. This bullet-shaped security camera is built for endurance, with its tough metal and hard plastic housing connected to one very impressive strong mounting arm. And if you don't like the look of the bullet-shaped camera, it even comes as a dome camera for the same price. The ACZ800 builds on the success of the AC800, C800 and NC800 with improved high-definition video, enhanced night vision and smart detection features. So let's open the shutter and see if this camera can live up to the company's reputation. In the box you get the camera with some waterproof grommets to keep the PoE plug nice and dry, a mounting drill template, a 24-hour video surveillance sticker, a well-written multilingual quick start guide, and 4 mounting screws with raw plugs. Now, as mentioned, this camera is designed for endurance and performance, so it's not small, measuring in at 285mm long, 158mm wide, and 155mm tall, and weighs in at 805 grams or 1.9 pounds. So make sure you use all of those screws and raw plugs when mounting. On the front of the unit is the main lens, which is a 1/2.4-inch progressive scan CMOS sensor with a maximum resolution of 3840 by 2160 or 8 megapixels. That's a 2.8mm to 12mm focal length, which means you get 4 times optical zoom. The camera has 2 video streams, one high resolution for recording and one substream that is used for live previews, and hence requires less bandwidth, of which most people will run the main stream at 4K 20 frames per second and the substream at the default 720p by 20 frames per second. Both main and substreams have selectable video compression, which is defaulted to H.264, but I would recommend changing this to H.265 for optimal performance as long as your viewing client supports this. Note that some web browsers do not support this as yet, so adjust accordingly. To the left of the camera is the microphone that has various different audio compressions and a built-in environmental noise filter option that you can tune from within the application. Below there are 4 LEDs that can be used for nighttime infrared and can also act as a floodlight or a strobe light, with a 90-degree knuckle joint between the base plate and the camera. All joints have teeth between the plates, secured with a Torx screw, of which the tool is provided. So once set, these are not going to be moving with the wind or when critters climb over them. With these degrees of adjustment, you should be able to position your camera into whatever direction you wish. The standout feature of the ANNKE ACZ800 has to be the impressive 4 times optical zoom. The 2.8mm focal length lens gives 127 degrees field of view. That zooms to 12mm with 41 degrees field of view, allowing you to see all those number plates even at distance. The night vision has been improved to allow for one of 3 different modes, from 24/7 color, IR, or smart dual light. Color and IR are obvious, but the smart dual light combines color and IR, keeping the IR to minimize lighting of the object unnecessarily, then when motion is observed, turning on the low-level lighting that provides for color vision. There is onboard built-in AI object detection that allows for human or vehicle detection or simply motion detection. This can then trigger a spotlight or a strobe light with audible alarms, all while notifying you through the app or via email. You have the usual two-way communications that the majority of security cameras offer, and since this is powered by PoE, is actually responsive. Then you get the added features, which we don't usually talk about, but are equally as important. Like the ACZ800 works between plus 60 degrees Celsius to minus 30 degrees, which not many cameras can say they do. The case is IP67 water rated, so works through the worst of weathers and in any climate. The microSD card can accommodate 256 gigabytes of storage, making the NVR an option and not a necessity, and that it can work with PoE or DC power, so it gives you the flexibility and powering options. Now there are a few different ways to set up the ACZ800, but I'll focus on the setup via the mobile phone app. I'll put links to the Google Play Store and iOS versions in the description, along with the QR codes on the screen. Open the app once downloaded. Read and agree the privacy policy and terms of service. Also, if asked, allow notifications to be sent. Select your region and press OK. Enter either your mobile phone or press the email icon if you prefer to log in with your email. I'll be using email. Enter your email address and a password and press Get Security Code. Enter the captcha and press the tick box in the top right hand corner. Type in the security code that would have been sent to your email address. Press Allow for Annke to scan your local network if asked. Now is time to scan your network for your Annke camera. Make sure you're plugged into a PoE switch so that your camera is powered on. Press Add Device. Your ACZ800 will be found and show up as inactive as it is not yet configured. It will have been allocated an IP address and it is set to DHCP from factory. Although this is an ACZ800, it will show up as a model number I91DE. You'll be asked if you wish to activate this camera. Press Activate. Enter a password and confirm your password for your camera and press Confirm. And you're done. Annke want to make the viewing experience as flexible as possible. As such, you can log directly into your ACZ800 camera from the IP address of the camera via a browser, a desktop app, or mobile app. As we saw in the setup, when I tested with the browser access, I couldn't bring up the camera feed. Just one note, this Safari is not supported. And although Chrome was supposed to be supported, I couldn't get the plugin to install. I've logged a support ticket with Annke, and if I do get this working, I'll pin a comment below. The direct login to the IP address through a browser does seem to be more focused for maintenance of the camera itself, as it allows you to access for the setup of the system settings, the security settings, and the user management. You also get access into the network configuration for the TCP/IP and ports. Then there is configuration into the video and audio, along with image configuration for on-screen settings and privacy masks. In events, you can set the motion detection, alarm schedules, and alarm strobe settings, amongst many other settings. While in storage, you can set a schedule as to when continuous and capture recordings can be made. Now I've rattled through a lot of these options, but there is configuration here for virtually everything you could possibly think of. For a more in-depth view of this, I'll put a link to the user guide in the description below. You can also download the Annke Vision app available for Mac or Windows. The app is the older design, only working in 4:3 format, but is functional and works well. This allows you to pause or play, mute, set the resolution, and to view alarms. Then there are 3 icons at the bottom of the screen that I don't know the functionality of. If you know what these do, then please let us know in the comments. To the right, you can control the picture, a video, or two-way audio, plus other controls for PTZ, which are not relevant to the ACZ800. And finally, you can access through the Annke NVR, which unfortunately I don't have yet, but when it does arrive, I'll bring you a new video to demonstrate this. To give a relative perspective on performance, I'll be putting the Annke AZ800 up against the Reolink TrackMix, which is a much more expensive camera, coming in at $118.99 US for the PoE variant, which is 50% more expensive than the ACZ800 at $79.99, but it will give you a comparison as to capabilities. Links to both in the description below. To start with, we have an overcast day at 7:16 PM in the evening. Remember that I am in summer, so the sunset sets at 8 PM, so low light conditions. The ACZ800 provided good resolution, not oversaturated colors, but also not that vibrant. Also remember that the settings are at default, so you should be able to brighten this image up. The TrackMix has dual lenses, so provides 2 displays of wide angle and zoomed. Colors and details look very similar, but with a fraction more low-level light detail. Zoomed in, we can see that the ACZ800 and TrackMix are very close on the level of detail. Next, we have a comparison at nighttime, with just street lighting at 10:50 PM. The ACZ800 does an excellent job of providing a color view, which is especially impressive considering this is only lit with minimal street lighting. The TrackMix does not have AI color for night light, but still does a great job with standard infrared with a really good level of detail. Again, both images are running default configuration, so could probably be improved on. In our third comparison is at 6:20 AM in the morning. By this time we have good light but diffused. On this day it was a particularly overcast, but we can see that both cameras compensate well with very little difference between the two picture qualities. The ANNKE ACZ800 can be integrated into Home Assistant through RTSP or OnViv, so you get the best of both worlds. Since we have shown the configuration using RTSP on many occasions, and OnViv is actually the far more flexible option, I'll be using that for this integration. Press the Add Integration in the bottom right hand corner. Search for and select OnViv. Make sure the tick box for the search automatically is selected and press Submit. The integration will search your network for your camera. You'll be presented with an option to configure manually, or as the camera has already been found and identified as an I91DE and with the correct IP address. Select with the radio button and press Submit. Optionally change the name to something more appropriate. Enter the username and password and press Submit. Optionally provide an area and press Finish. Now let's look at the entities that are exposed. Search for OnViv and select Devices. We need to make one change here. Although the main stream is active and displayed, the substream is not. In Sensors, press the +1 entity not shown. Select Substream. Select the cog icon. Select Enable. The Enable entity will be available in Home Assistant in 30 seconds. Press OK. If the Enable toggle has not switched on, enable it now and press Update. Now we can see that our substream is now available. Now let's add this to a dashboard. For demonstration purposes, I've created a dashboard already. Press the pencil icon in the top right hand corner. Press the plus icon to add a card. Search for and select Picture Glance. Change the title to something more appropriate. Select the drop-down on the camera entity. Search for your ACZ800 substream. In the camera view, select Live. Scroll down. Clear out the default entities that are shown and press Save. Now press Done. Your ACZ800 live view using OnViv will be displayed on your dashboard. And we're done. So the ANNKE ACZ800 outdoor security camera, what do I think? Should you skip it, consider it, or buy it? Well, firstly, this camera is made to last. Its solid build quality will give you many years of solid performance. And then you get the environmental thresholds are some of the largest ranges I've ever seen in a consumer level camera, which all adds to the belief that this camera is going to last. The quality of the image is very good, and the fact that it's PoE gives you a very responsive camera. As for the negatives, the interface does feel legacy with its 4:3 aspect ratio, and the lack of support for Mac users might turn some off. But remember its purpose. You need a security camera to work and work all the time, no matter what happens. The aesthetics of the interface can sometimes come second, as long as you get a rock-solid performance. Links to the ACZ800 and Reolink TrackMix in the description. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then hit that like button, comment and share. And if you want access to similar material, then subscribe or maybe become a channel member and get early access to material plus other perks. And if I've helped you make a purchasing decision, then maybe a super thanks or a PayPal donation. It's really appreciated. Until the next one.